In a bizarre world made entirely of cream and frosting, a tiny couple lived inside a giant wedding cake. On the surface, everything looked perfect. A bride and groom were celebrating their wedding, smiling as they raised their glasses for a toast. But suddenly, the groom accidentally spilled red wine across the bride's white dress. She was clearly upset. Yet with everyone watching, she forced herself to smile and kissed him gently. After all, it was still their wedding day. That night, the husband looked around their empty little room and sighed. He knelt down and began molding the creamy floor with his hands. Nearby, his wife quietly scrubbed the stubborn wine stain on her dress. Before she could even finish cleaning it, the husband had already shaped a soft, beautiful bed. The wife added a rose beside it as decoration. Together, they slowly built their home, a wardrobe, a sofa, a television. Little by little, their tiny cream world began to feel alive. Then the husband noticed an empty corner of the room. After a brief pause, he molded a baby cradle. The wife immediately frowned. She didn't want a child yet. She didn't want pregnancy to change her body. The husband looked at her silently, then crushed the cradle back into cream. Trying to lighten the mood, the wife suggested going on a honeymoon. On the table, she sculpted a tiny beach vacation out of cream, but the husband drew a large money symbol beside it. They couldn't afford such a trip, so he reshaped it into a simple mountain camping scene instead. The wife pushed his hand away and added a giant bear next to the tent. Too dangerous, the husband shrugged. If everything's dangerous, we may as well stay home and watch TV. Frustrated, the wife angrily swept everything off the table. The two walked away from each other in silence. Later that night, she sat alone, still trying to clean the stain from her dress while quietly wiping away tears. The husband watched from afar. He wrapped an arm around her, trying to make peace. But the real issues between them still remained. The next day, their little cream dog wanted to go outside. The wife asked her husband to walk it for a while, but he was completely absorbed in television and ignored her. Angry, she smashed the TV apart. The husband exploded with rage. In a fit of anger, he stomped the cream dog flat and reshaped it into another tiny television before continuing to watch. Heartbroken, the wife quietly walked away. Hidden in the corner, she wiped tears from her eyes while scrubbing the stain on her chest. After some time, the husband finally realized how cruel he had been. He tried to apologize, but she refused to forgive him. Then he noticed the stain she could never completely wash away. Carefully, he used fresh cream to cover it. The wife softened. For a moment, it felt like they understood each other again. And that brings us back to the beginning. After reconciling, the husband once again started criticizing his wife's appearance. Thinking she wasn't perfect enough, he used cream to reshape her body the way he wanted. Proud of the result, he smiled with satisfaction, but the wife was furious. She grabbed a chunk of cream from his stomach and slammed it onto his thin shoulders. This time, the fight completely shattered their relationship. And then, the giant wedding cake was finally cut open by the real newlywed couple outside. Inside was complete chaos. Yet strangely, none of it affected the happiness of the real bride and groom. They raised their glasses together. Red wine spilled onto the bride's white dress once again, but unlike before, their happiness was only just beginning.